So this video is going to be about Metal Storm per se. It's going to be about Metal Storm because I want to talk about nicknames. No one has ever asked me, where does my nickname come from? The one I use in the video game. Because some people have noticed. If you join me in my video gaming and you see me sign in, you will see that it doesn't say Carlton. No. Totally different. It actually says Don Nuka. Now, that name means nothing to most people. But from where I'm from, it actually has a really good solid meaning because that name belongs to one of my uncles. Every one of my uncles is my favorite uncle. I love all my uncles. But only one uncle has an actual nickname. All the other ones go by their name throughout their entire lives. They just go by their name. That's it. But I got one uncle who goes by the nickname Don Nuka. And I remember as a kid when some dudes saw me and they were like, "Who the heck are you?" Yada yada yada. I'm like, I'm Carlton. And they're like, "Oh, we don't know who this is." Blah blah blah. Yakety smack. And they're like, "Well, who your daddy is and who this is and who that is." And I was like, "Yeah, Don Nuka's my uncle." Don Nuka's your uncle? Man, how come you didn't say that at first? Like somebody's gonna walk around saying Don Nuka is my uncle. And they look at you and they see the jaw and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh snap, that is like you." Yeah, he's a Smith. He's a Smith. It's stuff like that. It was always weird. But his nickname meant something. And when I started to work in real life at a grocery store, there was a guy who, that first night I worked, because it was third shift, the guy, he didn't want to call me Carlton. And this is the first time I realized that people don't want to call people by their real name. They want to give them a nickname. And most of the people there had nicknames. There was Lolly. And there was John New. John New is actually his first and last name together. It just forms like Voltron or whatever. But the guy couldn't remember Superman's daddy's name. And he thought it was Kal-El. So from that point on, my name was Kal-El. And I'm like, "Oh, this guy, this kind of sucks." I eventually left that place, but it was kind of weird. And it was the first time I realized that I didn't like nicknames. Now, I got a list over here. Fast forward to 2006-ish or something like that. I'm working with a guy in the crew that I'm working with right now. And he calls me Ka. Now, take him out, I don't like nicknames. But I had recently finished up art history, and I have an art history degree and all the other stuff. And one of the Egyptian spirits is called Ka. And I was like, because there's a Ka spirit and a Ba spirit. And I was like, I actually like that. So this guy called me Ka all the time. He's the only person that can call me Ka. And that's kind of cool because I'm like, you know what? This nickname, it fits. It fits. Now, fast forward, no, probably rewind a little bit, to when I'm playing the Xbox. I was messing around, just putting my name in. And then one time they were like, "Hey, you got to change. You can't use your whole real name. You got to change it to something else other than your actual name, Mr." And I was like, okay. And I thought about it, and I even made sure that the spelling was correct with my wife and everything, because I wanted to put a K in it, and she's like, "No, it's got to be a C, because the K wouldn't do the same thing it's supposed to be." And I still remember the very first time I'm playing one of the Ghost Recons, and I was on the bridge. We were trying to do an assault. I was on the bridge, and they kept saying on the screen and everything, "Don, get off the bridge! Don, get off the bridge!" I didn't realize they were talking to me. So it took me a long time to register in my head, I can go by Carlton or I can go by Don in the game. But most people had started, by that time they started calling me Don because they don't want to say Don Nuka. They don't feel like typing it or whatever, or in some cases typing, in other cases saying it out. They just start saying done. They just cut it off. And I'm like, you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. I actually like that. What does this have to do with Metal Storm? Metal Storm is going through some updates. These updates are going to change how often you can change your name, and how much you're going to pay for changing your name. There are idiots out there. I do refer to them as idiots because they want to change their name every other day. They want to change their name to F this president, screw this previous president, and all the other stuff. And there's some people with extremely long names. Like the names are so long that there's 2 rows of words just for that person's name. Developer wise, it's easier and better for them to have people with short names. Your actual name is not your ID in the game. In order for me to give my ID to you, I have to go into the system and give you my special coded letters and numbers, alphanumeric, to give to you to be a part of my crew or whatever, or to be a friend or whatever. And I think they just want to knock off one of the barriers of people doing stupid stuff. This will also make them a little bit more legitimate. This is a new game. This game is not 2 years old yet. It's approaching 2 years old. And because of that, they want to make sure that they straighten up some things. Having a tournament, that's really nice. My guys in the process of figuring out who is going to qualify to be in the tournament. I told them I will be available. I checked my schedule. It should be an actual thing. But I also got a small glimpse into what they're thinking about in the near future. Engine upgrades and a few other things. And basically, it seems like they want to go more into a car-like situation where you can do a swap. Like, what if you wanted the engine of a F111 inside of an F4 Phantom? That's not really possible because one is a split, the other one. I can see where they're going with this here. And as they expand the game, you're going to want more options, and I like that. They even are considering a PvE, a co-op PvE section, which is basically 2 dudes want to fly together, and we can just go against bots, like intentionally go against bots, and not being a training thing, but being an actual PvE situation. So I actually like that. Now, back to the naming thing, because there was a couple things here. I already talked about my name, what I'm using for my name. It's Uncle Still Alive. I'm just giving homage to him because he's the only uncle that I have that actually has a real nickname. Now, the other weird thing is, when you play the game with me, Metal Storm is what I'm referring to. My whole objective is don't be the guy on the bottom. Always be the guy somewhere in the middle or on the top. And the reason I say that is the top is always MVP, the top 3 or whatever. The middle means you were just a good worker. Bottom means you probably just didn't do well, and you can there's room for improvement there. The weirdest thing is one of my coworkers who played Tom Clancy's The Division with me asked me, "Hey, were you on last night about 3:00 in the morning?" And I told him, nah. And he said, did you change your name to some extra characters? And he showed me a screenshot. And it was Don Nuka and a whole bunch of extra numbers. Someone or the Xbox system had emulated my name and threw some extra letters in there to make it a legitimate player name in the game. I had never seen anything like that before. He sent me a screenshot. It's on my computer somewhere. But you know what? For this video, I'm not going to search through 118,000 photos. But just trust me, it's there. I'm at the edge of catching a cold. And it's probably going to happen tomorrow. But, today is tomorrow. That's what I wanted to say. I want to talk about nicknames. I want to talk about, at some point, there's going to be some major updates that is going to basically put Metal Storm in a better position so that they can be not a forgotten game, a game that people will continue to play. I like that. I like that they're thinking about the future, because remember, I have played Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, and one day they were expanding, and the next day they just said we're shutting down in October, and I don't want that to ever happen again, but I can always expect that from portable game systems, but it just happens so fast. And this one, I can see that I think they own their intellectual property. I think they are in total control. And that's the one thing that the previous game that I played did not have. They didn't have total control over everything, or more control over everything. That's the end of this video. I got to go to bed. If you knew about the shoe thing, you will have realized that, hey, the other shoe showed up. This right here is something totally different. I'm debating on whether or not I should do a video on this here. It's iPod related. Got a good deal for it. I did not pay full price for it, but I got the best that I could. I'm happy with it though. I got too many of them. I got 3 of them. Ugh. But I also have enough iPod equipment to build 3 to 4 iPods. Yeah. Travis Scott has this song called 4x4. I love that song, 4x4. Have a good one.